He's usually set the answer. You right now, anyway.
Commissioners, your meeting is live.
Okay, welcome to the Board of Raleigh County Commissioners, February 23rd meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good to see everybody. Do we have any public comment?
Good morning, Commissioners. Ashlyn Easterday with the REACH Committee, and I am here to present the Employee of the Month for March. The Employee of the Month is Aaron Brocksterman, and the nomination went on to say, I'd like to nominate Aaron because he has not only accepted me and made me feel comfortable on a personal level, but has also encouraged me every step of the way. More than that, he connected with me on a personal level and was there for me when I needed support. He uplifts me even when he doesn't realize he's doing it, and his genuine care makes a lasting impact.
One, two, three. Big smile, one, two, three.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yep. Football game.
I got overheated.
Yeah. And my Stell case still here, so.
Yeah, I still, yeah, get me going.
Thank you. It's been. You really?
This was a couple of years.
You did.
Some of those games, couple years.
All of us one, we had parked and walked away the races. I got just walking in and you got there, let me go upstairs. I couldn't get there, so it took me in. Moved me off and gave some water. And that's fine.
Good.
Okay, do we have any other public comments? Okay, seeing that, we'll go on to commission comments. And Don, are you there? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep my video and stuff off because I'm kind of down a couple stories here, just to keep bandwidth. And I'm gonna be brief. I've got more detailed comments in my commissioner comments if you want to read those later. But good morning from our nation's capital. It's icy and snowy this morning, but I'm sure everybody knew that already. Thursday at post meeting, I did meet with the group from Steel and Pipe to discuss a little bit more thoroughly our discussion on a potential county administrator. I know that we're going to be talking about it a little bit more in depth during this meeting today. You may or may not have a couple of those individuals there in attendance, or they may already be in attendance. I don't know. But conversation was good, answered some questions and concerns, and just moved through it the best we could. Thursday evening, I met with Raleigh County Attorney Barry Wilkerson. I had some questions and concerns and some things I needed to kind of get addressed, and needed the opportunity to get caught up with him, so we were able to do that. Certainly appreciate his time and thoughts and opinions on what I presented to him. So Friday morning, hop on a jet, headed out here to Washington, D.C. for the 2026 NACO Annual Legislative Conference here at the Washington Hilton. Got all my credentials, got everything set up and set in, and kind of settled in for the evening. Saturday morning was an all-day meeting of the Community Economic Workforce and Development Committee. Heard from, we heard from the EDA. We heard from some federal priorities and some other things attached to that. Had a chance to have an open discussion on some inter-policy. And then there was some things from some other people. I won't go through it all in detail. Saturday evening, Kansas Association of Counties had a dinner at Jack Rose for the entire Kansas delegation that were in attendance here in DC. We did have officials from Douglas County, Johnson County, McPherson County, as well as Ford County in attendance, which was nice. Had a good chance to catch up with everybody and some good dialogue as well. Sunday morning, I attended the mid-sized county caucus meeting. It was a good panel discussion. We did actually have somebody from Shawnee County on that panel and answered some good questions and had some good dialogue there. Also on Sunday, attended several educational workshops, including navigating local governance and AI, and Game On, NACO's Edge Solutions Showdown, something that they're working on internally. Also on Sunday, had our National Steering Committee of the Veterans and Military Services Advisory Council. After some opening remarks, did some introductions. We heard some federal policy updates and priorities from the United States Department of Veteran Affairs. Got some key priority policy updates from the National Council on Mental Wellbeing. And then we also got an update from the Office of Suicide Prevention. We also ended this year's meeting with a council discussion to pass some thoughts, concerns, and ideas around as necessary. We're also deciding as a council, we're not an actual standing NACO committee. That's something that we're going to try to work on here in 2026 as well. So with that said, kind of caught up. Like I said, it's kind of snowy and icy today. We're going to head up to Capitol Hill later this morning and this afternoon and see how that goes. So, and that's all I got.
Okay, Commissioner McKinley.
Okay, well, after our meeting Thursday, I met with Brittany Phillips to go over some questions she had questions on the organization plans. And then I spent Thursday afternoon and Friday morning meeting with as many department heads as I could just to go over those same plans. And Saturday morning, I attended the Riley County Republicans breakfast. There were several people there running for state offices to talk about it. And then also some of the existing local reps talking about updating on some stuff. Sunday, we went to the K-State Rodeo at the new Bilbrey Event Center. It's a really nice building. It's impressive in there. And my wife reminded her of all the times her grandpa used to take her to the rodeo. And since I'm about the age he would have been at that time, I'm not sure how I was supposed to take that. But also our seats ended up behind a superintendent I worked with at Osborne Construction back in the late 80s that I think I'd seen once since back then. It was good to connect with him, but no, it was a fun event. Rodeo exciting. Some of the people are crazy.
Yeah, rodeos are that way.
Yeah. But no, it was a good time. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, mine's a little quieter. Thursday afternoon, I had lunch with a friend and then had doctor's appointment. Friday morning, I attended the funeral of Cliff Spaeth at my church. He was a really well-known person in the community and the church was packed. So afterwards, I had some personal appointments and did some housekeeping, which I've been putting off for a while. The weekend was pretty quiet. I spent a lot of time studying reports from David Cooper concerning personnel reorganization needs identified by Mr. Cooper for the county that we'll be discussing later this morning. Yeah, I must have read those things 3 or 4 times. I also reviewed today's agenda and documents. Sunday, attended church and went to lunch with friends and then spent time getting ready for the week. And just battling the cold weather and walking the dog too. We should just get warm. That's all I have.
Business Commissioners, first one I have, the motion to approve real estate sales data search service agreement with Amy Ketchum McGee.
Yeah, I didn't have any questions on it. I'll move to approve the real estate sales data search service agreement with Amy Ketchum McGee.
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the real estate sales data search service agreement with Amy Ketchum McGee. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair, please sign. Have tax roll corrections, need a motion.
I'd move to approve the tax roll corrections.
I would second that. It's been moved and seconded to approve the tax roll corrections as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair, please sign. Any minutes, commissioners?
What technical difficulties? We didn't start till like quarter till, didn't we? Not at 8:30.
Yeah, I can make a note on that, that's autumn system.
That's what I figured. It's probably just automatically kicks that 8:30 on there.
Yeah, we did.
No, about quarter till, I thought, or. I don't know.
The technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Okay, got that note there. At least they can figure out that you can do that, do that.
I move to approve the minutes of the February 19th meeting as amended.
I'll second. I'm having a little technical difficulty myself here, so bear with me.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of February 19th, 2026 minutes, as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, like commissioners. Next week's press conference. Next commissioner, Lucky, Michael Riscala. 1 minute. And Michael. I know that you're big in cities and small. Course, that invests in that years, yes. Your face will be right. It's so your system. But I'm sure that's just it's gonna be. Because this is. Yeah, it's not some shit. That's
Or waiting to back somewhere. I don't see that.
Some majority, yes, so that's the best. So that's the way they be. There's a way to get out of much better. Some, you know, they're not generally, it's still worse than it's going to be true.
That's invitation to get back. You stand out.
But that's not good for neighbors, they're educated on what they can say, you know, I mean, really. But unfortunately, it's pretty good. You're from it's getting to other countries very well. Why do you say the same thing on a brief? I don't see it out. There's a lot of politics. Me too. Yeah. That's not. It's less supporting the sales lines.
Yeah.
Sure. So it can be. Yeah, that's place.
That's really what this is hard for you.
Yeah. The ball is good. Yeah. That thing is leads. But it's not so if you see that's it's not better. It's not really different. Mine is for loss of seven. I have the issue. I'm still actually. It's been the same. Well, these are. So it's the president's office. Did you see that? Did you see that article? This was. This is the guy. The sharing Supreme shows. West.
He was like pretty upset because they still some problems is you know, we buy this. We won't get this. He upset, so he says, well, that's. Well, when it's sold. He was paying taxes. And he says, well, that's all there's.
Yeah.
So he's upset. Well, it turns out that county, whoever's responsible. Every 7 years. That property.
It's fun.
So, I mean, it's, you know, that's what.
Yeah, I did not realize they were down. Chaos.
Yeah, you're telling her just after you've been the one thing.
They see that you're not behind lying things now. She knows it. You know, so that's impressive, like, you don't need. So, yeah, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law was getting married in April.
That's what we gotta be.
And I just texted my son, and I asked him when he gets back, because he left it. I said, yeah, and then so I go there. He said, but nothing, I said, yeah, I said, no, he's going, they're funny, I said, I'm saying we're here, and it's free. Down where? Yeah. Well, you guys go around.
Section. So. This year, our answers. And we all have.
Yeah.
Well, at the very. Now, he's going, I'm from hospital, and we say, company that. It was coming on to the day, so it's like, that's what it was like. They have.
Thank you, guy.
Yeah. So this is supposed to be 6 months because of the town. So bad.
Well, when they scheduled to get back.
They're taking their. No, that is already. Big average, right? That I had. Now.
That was odd, it's kind of usually just on about this all this stuff, so there's worse. Well, you said they were taught, so you could technically just shield. So there, they had an advantage, this is this, so it's just small, and it's just your team are responsible for the. So there's. Skates, is all.
You know, they've gone through that same discovery of. Well, like. Students and leaders, there's something. Yeah.
So this end is big lead now, mostly they hire son to. And each other. My, I would say, it's that area.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's why this. It's just. Yeah, I know. But more months, more years, you guys, they should have even with their installation, their stuff. Look it out. Yeah. But it'll be able to. Well, maybe. There's a lot of trouble. Yeah, and I don't make this one. So, yeah, I think I first, we got an accident, it was fine, I did.
Yes.
Somebody, we shared what you said. It's just so like, they're down. The thing is, after all, because Susan told me that. On that, she probably had like some percent. Well, how it works, what I have to pull it. We can send cities like that, it's nice cash, he's got aware and stuff. Stuff is there, like I said. So that's more than anything, listen to the. So here's, I know. Third day of the corner. You know? They're going into their school, shooting around the kid. So. It's everywhere. Super. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
And it's on the other side of the country. It's not in the US, it's on the west. There's something happening in somebody. Question. I really, that's why we will start. What I liked about it is, isn't that, you know, this, you know, ocean waves. And it's a lot of videos, the, that's our side, and we don't have any, you know, side. Things like it's very enjoyable. You can just sit out and St. John's, they're in all days, Virgin Islands, it's like it's trying to all of these all the way to saying they're not by yeah, that's how it is in Fort Lauderdale. It's blue. I mean, I'm just you can see first, you can see the hundreds of feet down. It's blue. The farther you go out, the blue it is. So it's blue. See, that's very useful. Yes, I spot here. I show you 45 for it and anchor road. Yeah, I can see my neighbor on the bottom. That's cool. That sounds real. That's that's what we're waiting just with your Susan is following the measure. Because we can find some place about that distance. And you know.
Michael?
Good morning. Thank you for having me today. I have a few updates. I'm not going to take long, but one of the things that we have implemented recently is the expansion of our mobile crisis response. And I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. Mike Riscal, Pawnee Mental Health. And one of the things we have done recently, effective January 1st, 2026, is the expansion of our mobile crisis response. And if you think about our crisis services, we have the outpatient team that screens folks to hospital inpatient beds or to our crisis stabilization unit or crisis services generally. And then we have the crisis stabilization unit, you know, at 1558 Hayes Drive. And we also have the mobile crisis response team. Mobile crisis response team responds to crises at the individual's own environment. We let them define the crisis and we respond. It could be at a school, it could be at the public library, it could be at the individual's home. We have about 5 teams with about 10 individuals who respond to crises. Part of our CCBHC model is to expand mobile crisis response to 24/7, and we have done that effective January 1st, 2026. I would say the last 3 months alone of 2025, October, November, December, we responded to over 120 instances of requests for mobile crisis response. The rate for which what we call diversion rate is 84%. 84 hovers around 84 to 85%. And what that means, these individuals have not ended up going to the ER, have not ended up calling 911, have not ended up escalating to a level that needs hospitalization, that kind of thing. And this is a high percentage. Kansas Department of Aging and Disability Services was impressed with that percentage in a recent conversation with them. So this has been successful. We have started a campaign called New Day at Pawnee. And what a new day at Pawnee is basically, we have turned 69 in November of last year. We'll turn 70 in November of this year. And that's a lot of commitment to this community and to our 10-county area. We started as Riley County Mental Health, Community Mental Health Center, and this is part of our history, and we're proud of that. And we had kickoffs because we have such an expansive area that we serve, 10 counties. We had a kickoff for our campaign, New Day at Pawnee campaign in Manhattan, one in Concordia and one in Junction City. And what this aims at is basically telling the community, if you think you know Pawnee, think again. We have expanded, we have grown, we serve thousands of people. We have been part of this community, and we are a safety net provider. Come take another look if you need care. So that's what New Day at Pawnee is. We have also expanded, we are establishing what is called a correctional mental health program. And what that is basically helping individuals in the jail, because in several cases, the individual could be receiving care already, and they go to the jail, and they end up, in that instance, when an individual goes to the jail, they become the jail's responsibility. It is a better form of providing care if we could follow them, although it is the jail responsibility. And if we're able to do that in the jail, once they discharge, they don't face the challenges of not having meds, having to go back into the cycle of care and waiting to be seen, all of this stuff. We have established a jail liaison position, and that position comes at no cost to the jail. Helps the jail with discharge planning for the individuals at the jail facility, and helps with case management, care coordination for these individuals. We're also establishing agreements with area jails to see how we can better serve them. And these agreements, we have 3 county jails in multiple counties who have signed those agreements. And basically, again, we provide care management, care coordination, therapy, and medical services, and a host of other services that become available to these individuals at the jail through these collaborations between us and the different jails. Couple more items. We had a successful advocacy day. The community mental health centers come together once a year at the state capitol and meet with legislators and tell them all that is happening in the mental health field and advocate for any House or Senate bills that touch the lives of the individuals we serve. And we had a very successful participation. 25 community mental health centers came together on February 10th in Topeka. We had representation from our governing board, 3 board members, including our board chair, also participated. And we met with 8 legislators. So that was successful. And that happened on February 10th. We had a successful Pancakes for Pawnee, our annual Pancakes for Pawnee fundraiser on February 17th. Weather was good. We had a good level of participation. We fulfilled meals. We fulfilled orders for over 365 meals. So that was good. And we raised close to $16,000. So, and we're grateful for the participation and the support of the community and your endorsement and support as well. Any questions for me?
Ron, do you have any questions?
I don't.
Oh, there it is. Do you have any questions for Michael?
I do not.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can't wait for spring. We should make up a slide. Yeah, 60, 30, 60, 20.
So you're reaching out.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah. Okay, I thought it's because our skin got thinner.
Circulation problem.
The circulation. Oh, good.
Everybody is. Get in those goals.
It's so fun. Oh, boy.
Yes.
Not much we can do about it.
Oh, yes.
My wife got a.
Yeah, sure.
Even better.
Oh, yeah, I've got one of those, yeah. That'll work too good.
Rich, how you doing?
Mine keeps turning off. I'll be walking my dog and all of a sudden.
Yes. Disappointed in cats,
Yeah.
but our baseball team's something else.
Yeah.
Gotta say that. Okay, let's see. Here we go.
George getting.
That's what. A lot of good things that. Help this.
Yeah.
We got to think of Jim Morrison's. And I.
You know, that cartoon, I didn't understand that you can't read through a cartoon with me and Jim and stuff.
That's not understanding. It takes away as new, may take it off. Latitude of the director in terms of access. Funds.
Yeah,
So much
we've been
research
talking
on
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's a little more. Because I know you guys last year. Cool stuff. Yes, it's something. Trying to snap books and that we can go somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah. I think
Well, they were
just.
kind of using it, if it had money at the end, they were gonna do whatever they had. You know, let us know which, you know, because Greg here's last one, but said, no, any actors personnel carries over.
But yeah, keep the personnel.
Yeah.
Because that true. Funding as well.
Well, first, we have I really about budgeting. Because they're not on the same rule as city and county. We have, we have. Back in line items. We have, we can't just move it. They can.
But it all sits in the general fund, but it's a ledger different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically.
Right.
And then we have reserve. We put in.
Call them buckets, but they're not. They're
Right.
Counting buckets.
Yeah.
So most of these district buckets, they think cash, so.
Yeah.
No, it's just some numbers on the spreadsheet, but, yeah, we just.
I assumed it was there.
And police department carries any excess money, they get to carry it over. Ours, each department doesn't, like, there are certain funds that are ongoing funds, but any excess doesn't. It's cleared out at the end of the.
They're losing, yeah.
You guys are doing 47, some consolidation. The ambulance service. Is there
Fire.
Oh, yeah,
rural fire?
yeah, that's happening this year,
Yeah, they're starting that.
starting, yeah.
From the structure. Budget standpoint,
Well, but the budget, yeah, I mean, it'll be effective, but the budget will have to change the budget this year, but it'll, if anything, it's gonna lower the budget. So
What brought that? This obviously wasn't.
John Elliman is gonna be retiring like in October. That's one of it. Or not, no.
Rusty
Rusty, retired, yes.
retiring, and they had trouble filling that position last time. And they're all, especially after both of them, street furniture. He said. They've been talking about some options, and that's something we just thought it would make sense to consolidate those two together. Yeah. But it just.
Yeah. We'll have to see.
Well, like I said, it started talking about it last, I started talking about it last fall with staff of those places saying, how does this work? So they're in the process and now David Adams.
Supposed to be coming
In July, I think.
Is it July?
Did you think it's in July?
Did you know? And that's so many other small thing.
Yeah, well,
Mostly
right, yeah, most of it is happening.
So this is all this.
Yeah, but you are putting a big lean on EOC. Emergency operations, because now they've just, if we have any things that kind of stuck us in a room in the fire department, they had an extra, they kind of took over some space there. But this one is going to be a connection, direct connection to the dispatch. The person that had to call about the dispatch on the phone, there's going to be an actual dispatch. This here, going to be a use of time, but in residencies, then they can set it in.
Hopefully it's rare use.
Right, hopefully it gets dusty.
Hey, how are you?
It's time for.
Man bills.
All right. Yep.
It's up. A little bit more. Morning, Commissioners. Amanda could not be here today, so on her behalf, I will be presenting the proposed text amendments for the short-term rentals regulations within the Riley County Land Development Regulations. A little background, as you may recall, the Riley County Planning Board and the Manhattan Urban Area Planning Board held public hearings on October 20th and November 3rd of last year, respectively, Each board forwarded a recommendation of approval to the Board of County Commissioners. On December 8th of 2025, the Board of County Commissioners held a public hearing on the item. Councilor Jacob Hansen cautioned the board that the proposed language for the 500-foot separation distance between the STR units could inadvertently allow for arbitrary enforcement. As written, the language does not include any clear guidelines or factors to consider when waiving the requirements, but appears more so as a random list of options. Thus, it was proposed to revise the language to directly focus on the primary issues, which were traffic and parking. And so it's a matter of phrasing, but it includes that and gets directly to the point. And so it avoids the arbitrariness, and it introduces reasonableness in their decision to waive that requirement. That's it for that one. The second portion of the text amendments deals specifically with the responsible agent of the short-term rental and how the responsible agent must respond to complaints. The existing language of the document reads, responsible agent shall have access and authority to assume management of the short-term rental and make remedial measures. The agent shall be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to respond to complaints regarding the condition or operation of the short-term rental, the conduct of guests, or violations related to these regulations. The the responsible agent must be able to affirmatively respond to complaints within an hour of notification of such complaints. That's the existing language, and that last sentence is the most important there. The responsible agent must be able to affirmatively respond to complaints within an hour of notification of such complaint. What was added is they must be able to respond to complaints in person. That was being proposed. However, it was later discovered that the phrase "be able to," I could put it like a sign over here. Welcome. Hello, Mark. So the phrase "be able to" may alter the intended requirement. This wording is comparatively weak and should be interpreted to mean that the individual is not required to respond, but merely has the capacity to do so. And so it's a good catch. Thus, it is recommended that the phrase "be able to" be removed, so the sentence actually reads, responsible agent must affirmatively respond to complaints in person within 1 hour of notification of such complaint. Both the Manhattan Urban Area Planning Board and Riley County Planning Board held work sessions on February 2nd and February 9th, respectively, and unanimously agreed with the revisions and recommended approval of those edits to the original proposed text amendments. Staff also recommends the Board of County Commissioners approve those revisions to the original text amendments to the land development regulations. That's all I have. If you have any questions for me.
I know we've been fine tuning that statements to get them right.
Do you have any questions? John, do you have any questions?
No, on this one, it's basically just the same thing. We can make all the changes and things we want, but we're never going to be able to enforce it. So it is what it is.
Okay.
Well, I move to approve resolution 022326, resolution amending the Riley County land development regulations in Riley County.
There's a second. Okay, I will second that. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 022326, amending the Riley County land development regulations in Riley County as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who's signing?
No?
Yeah. He's having in and out
Oh, okay.
technical difficulties to promote
Okay.
litigation, but they're even fine with it.
Okay. Thank you, folks.
Yep, thank you. Yep.
I'll be back.
Yeah. What? We're just gonna read God. There it is.
That grinding noise you hear.
How you guys think it's got early? Yeah.
This is dry. Okay.
I know.
The longest minute.
Doesn't give the seconds on there anymore.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, Commissioners. Anna Burson with the Riley County Appraiser's Office. I just wanted to remind property owners that value notices will be mailing this Wednesday, February 25th. Those change of value notices, the February 25th, property owners can expect to begin receiving their notices shortly after. Updated property information, including these value notices and property record details, will be available online through the parcel search on Friday, February 27th by noon. Property owners who have questions or wish to appeal should review their notices carefully and their property record cards and follow the instructions that are included with the value notice. Appeal request forms may be emailed, dropped off, or mailed no later than March 26th. Thank you.
Good morning, John Ellerman, Public Works. And I've got a notice that Raleigh County Transfer Station will be closing Monday or March 2nd, 2026 for the beginning of the construction of the new tipping floor.
During this time, both commercial and residential customers may use the designated temporary dump site at the transfer station. Please refer to the map below for directions and site instructions. This construction phase is a tentative end date of April 10th of 2026. Delays should be anticipated. For everyone's safety, please drive slowly and follow all posted signs. We appreciate your patience and cooperation during this improvement project, and please remember, pass the word. Thank you.
David Cooper, 9:35.
See you.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Soon he's on his way.
Oh.
Oh, it
Yeah.
can't, oh,
Soft jazz or something.
That cost, Larry.
If you use your phone.
I can enjoy that than cost.
I've got some great music on my phone.
I don't think there's a statute against it.
Depends on what you play, Gary.
Vivian's over there like.
Because you probably heard my play this twisted sister. I'm not gonna take it anymore.
There you go, we can play that over and over this morning.
I don't think the city commission appreciated my comments. Oh, well.
Mine this morning was blinded by the light. Driving in.
oh, yeah, it was, it's just
It
the wrong
was
spot today.
Terrible. It's just a certain time. If I did it earlier or later.
That doesn't make sense. does it?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
They got a good caricature of me, but I'll have to ask him what it means.
Yeah, but a lot of those ones he writes, that Chappie was on there, don't. It's his thoughts and stuff, it doesn't always making.
Right on time, David.
One minute to spare.
What am I supposed to do?
Do you need some more time?
Good soup.
If you charge 20 bucks, it doesn't.
It's that.
Cash. I will tell everyone here that this conversation will be with Mr. Cooper will be limited to just a discussion with the commissioners, the three commissioners, and David at this point. Okay.
Good. Well, good morning, commissioners, folks. My name is David Cooper. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Fisher Patterson, Saylor and Smith in Topeka. I represent local governments and their employees in litigation and advisory capacity matters. And I presented to the commission a report dated February 11 of this year, in which I recommended that the Board of County Commissioners create the position of a county administrator to address the future governance of the county. So I'm not real sure, Commission, how you want me to present the remainder of this, or if you want if you have questions.
Well, you might just go through, whatever your thought process on this, and, the report has been, on our agenda in public knowledge. So if you could just kind of maybe summarize your thoughts and what you're feeling about.
Okay, well, first we start with I guess we should start with the observation that I've been a student of local government entities in the state of Kansas since I was in college in the 90s or early 90s. I worked for the League of Municipalities while I was in law school, and then for the Attorney General's office. This particular assignment or this particular project grew out of an investigation that I did on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners regarding non-elected personnel. And I simply observed that Riley County is the largest county in the state of Kansas that is without an administrator or a manager. And when I say the largest, I mean both by population and by budgets, in large part. I have zero intention of getting into the details of the investigation that I conducted on behalf of the board, because that does address non-elected personnel. But it did raise a question in my mind, and that I addressed with various employees, yourself, the elected officials, and with the county clerk, as to how is it you don't have an administrator? And it became apparent to me that the reason you don't have an administrator is you've gotten by without one because of your county clerk. He's been fulfilling and performing the functions of a de facto county clerk for decades, quite literally. It is no secret that the county clerk is in his last term, has announced his intention not to seek re-election. And I recommended that you make plans for how you're going to proceed going forward. Generally, there are a variety of ways that the commission can achieve this. First, the choices between a county administrator and a county manager. Those are different positions with different authorities. I personally recommend the administrator role because I believe that the county commission has a role as the executive of the county and is responsible for the oversight of the administrator. Ordinarily, the functions of the county administrator are the administration of personnel, overseeing personnel, formulation of the budget, formulation of recommendations for policy, but policy should and will remain with the commission as a whole in terms of setting policy and in terms of setting budget priorities. You will tire of me saying this, but I say it to cities and counties across the state of Kansas, is that the most important grade card for your county administrator or your city administrator or your city manager is your bond rating. And the reason I say that is because it is the responsibility of somebody to, one, maintain a bond rating while also achieving the goals and administrative priorities of the governing body and the constituents of the county. Managing and coordinating the ripple effects that any given budgetary priority has on your long-term bond rating, and being able to bring every decision back to how will this affect our bond rating, is an important function of that administrative position. The administrator is responsible for day-to-day oversight of personnel management decisions, budget and finance decisions. And ordinarily, in my experience, the administrator position houses both the functions of the human resources, the budget and finance, and whether that budget and finance, and then most county counselor positions fall within the county administrator's division. However, with the proviso that the county counselor always and forever answers to the county commission and not to, because their client is the county and the commission and not the administrator. So again, I questioned how you've gotten along without a county administrator. I've learned the answer to that. The necessity of developing an answer to that going on and to address for the clerk's upcoming retirement. And so I presented to you a recommendation that you develop and plan for the creation of a county administrator position, and that it's my recommendation that the human resources and finance and county counselor positions all answer to that county administrator position. And then I left open the concept of, okay, is that one reorganization or is it a two-step reorganization? You can achieve that a couple of ways. Again, there's statutory authority for the creation of the county administrator position. It can be done simply by the creation of a resolution by the county commission. That's the method I recommend you follow. There can be a referendum for that as well. I don't know whether there's a public groundswell for a referendum on this. But it's my recommendation that you as a commission get in front of the position, or get in front of the wave, frankly, and create by resolution the county administrator's position. I acknowledge and need the commission to understand that reorganization will have significant impacts on the current structure of the county, because the county human resources manager and the county finance director report currently to the county clerk. So by function of statute, they are the clerk's employees, and I'm proposing a function by which those positions will be moved from the clerk to the county administrator position and answer ultimately to you, the county commission. By statute, because they are the employees of the clerk, they are the clerk's employees, and the decision to hire, fire, promote, or demote the clerk's positions belongs to the clerk. So it's going to require the participation and agreement of the clerk for those people, not the positions, the people, to move to a different position. The adoption of the resolution creating moving those positions will also require a budgetary amendment if this happens outside a budget cycle, because the money that pays those positions is currently allocated to the clerk's position, that you will be reallocating money from the clerk to the administrator division. And then there's a question as to the timing of all of those sorts of things. Of course, I'm suggesting the creation of a position that doesn't have a current occupant, so you're going to have to recruit and fill that position. I have not suggested a salary for that, but I want you to understand that I'm talking about hiring an executive position with a multi-million-dollar budget and responsibility. My experience across the state with people who hold positions like that, those are relatively high six-figure salaries that in order to get somebody who's both competent and who's not looking to treat any given stay as a stepping stone to the next bigger thing. First, any questions with respect to that?
Yeah, I think that, you know, having this discussion now is important because we haven't started into our budget season yet before 27. And it would be good to do all these things before it happens. So,
Oops, sorry.
so we could plan for that ahead of time and start putting it into our budget. Maybe that person, I don't know how sought after those jobs are. And do you have any idea how long it would take to maybe hire somebody into that?
Depends on what, most of those positions are filled by a search. And this is something that's not in my report. About just under half of the positions that I'm familiar with where a search firm is engaged in order to find candidates for the position. And well, in a direct answer to your question, Commissioner, is that those are highly competitive jobs. Typically, the people who get those jobs are experienced local government executives. Some of them, some of the more successful ones that I've encountered have had a previous career being an executive at the local government, whether it's in law enforcement or typically you'll find either a public works director has graduated from being a public works director to being a county administrator. A chief of police works their way into a city manager position of a larger organization or a different organization. So your various departments, you'll find somebody who has, well, extensive experience managing a fairly large organization and is looking for the next challenge of an even larger organization. I hasten to say, I'm not saying that the talent to fill that position does not exist on the county's payroll today. I don't know the answer to that question. Sometimes that is the case, but ordinarily, again, it is whether you do the recruitment yourself or whether you retain a search firm to do the recruitment. I suggest that the pool of people you look for to fill that position be as broad as possible, and that that you set the compensation to be attractive enough to recruit the talent from wherever it may be. Something else that I've mentioned briefly, there is a timing issue. Again, there's a budget cycle that may or may not be, if you're talking about a budget cycle, we're talking about building this into essentially being effective January 1 of 2027. If you build it into the current cycle, if you want to take a longer period, you could build it into the follow, the next two cycles. Or if you want to do it sooner, you can amend the current budget and do the reorganization sooner than that and amend the budget. My recommendation is that you do the reorganization and create the vacancy and then recruit to fill the vacancy, in which case you would need to have somebody in an acting position during that period of time.
John, do you have any questions? Comments? He's still,
I'm going through security at the Capitol here. You have to give me a second.
okay.
He's going through security. I'm surprised he still has a good signal.
I've got a Wi-Fi pack.
Backward.
Is he coming back? I have another question related to John. On the powers and duties that's set out statutorily under KSA 19-3A02. We do have the power as a county commission to, it says that unless otherwise provided by the Board of County Commissioners, we can limit those.
Yes.
And set it up the way we want it to be.
That's why I recommend you do this by resolution. It's because the statute is very flexible and allows you to create the positions and define the duties of that responsibility. Let me compare and well, I don't want to do too close of a comparison or a contrast, but Johnson County and Sedgwick County, they created their positions by county by home rule resolutions, which means they invented the whole thing. And I will tell you that the process of making that stew was very long and had a pretty steep learning curve. And of course, because it's a political matter, and when I say it's a political matter, when you're adopting a home rule resolution, those are subject to votes, or in the event that the referendum is called. And so bottom line, a lot of stakeholders were brought to the table and to develop that before it came out. And my report and recommendations suggest that you bring those stakeholders to the table in developing this as well. And that's internal and external stakeholders as to what do we want this administrative structure to look like on a long-term basis. And I recommend that you give pretty hard look at in terms of what the specific authorities are. You can pick and choose that this is a commission decision, this is an administrator decision, and the degree of oversight that the commission has over the administrator's decisions. They will be, and it doesn't matter how much time you put into thinking ahead of what is going on, you can never anticipate every circumstance that's going to arise. So trying to account for all circumstances on the front end isn't what you want to achieve. You want to achieve a structure that allows both the flexibility and the responsibility to address what might come before both the administrator or you, the commission.
And that flexibility would be through a resolution, not necessarily the home rule.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, that was one of the things I had highlighted on there too, is that you kind of listed everything they could do. But there's definitely things in there that will change. I mean, just from our preliminary discussions that
I've got to presume that you're your own folks.
You know, but we don't have to do it under home rule. We can do it under the resolution, but just because it says in there that we can modify these duties, and
correct.
And that's something we'll need, say, to develop the job description, I guess. It's going to be a process to, like you say, to get a lot of people involved in it, that not just, I don't intend to do that in the next 5 minutes.
No.
It's going to take a while to go through everything to see what that position is needed to do.
Correct.
Yeah,
Nor
but-
would I suggest that you try to do this in the next 30, 45 days.
Right.
Okay, it's a longer, but I do suggest that you start with the statute and look at, okay, what do you want to subtract? And also, what do you want to add? And the statute is intended to be a comprehensive, essentially template for you to work with. And it is intended to be something that if you adopt it as a whole, it's supposed to be, and has proven to be, at least in my experience, something that works for the people who've used it so far.
Yeah, one of the things I would want to avoid is having the county administrators step in, be the ultimate decision. Sometimes some of these county administrators I've heard over the state, can't talk to their department heads and can't be involved. So that's something I'd like to avoid.
Somebody, you meaning somebody who doesn't work with the people they work with?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what's intended here. Well, for the audience, not this group, but for the audience to understand is one of the reasons the county administrator position evolved is, well, first, cities have had them for a very long time, and it works because the larger the organization, the more comprehensive it gets. But by default, the county commission is the administrator of the county with the final say over all decisions that don't belong to the elected officials, whether that be the clerk, the register of deeds, or the treasurer. Riley County doesn't have a sheriff, but all the other counties also have a sheriff, and that's usually the larger department that doesn't answer to the county commission. There are day-to-day things that need a decision to be made, and if you are the decision maker, well, you're not here to make those day-to-day decisions on a daily basis. You're here twice a week. And so there are built-in inefficiencies in having the Board of County Commissioners without the administrator who managed the day-to-day activities at your direction. And it is intended that even though there's an administrator there to do the day-to-day administration, that is still subject to the governing body's direction and ultimate control. And so again, this is something that I teach at County Commission School in the Januaries after there's a general election is county government is inefficient for a reason. There are the checks and balances in place so that the transparency to the constituency exists, and so things don't happen quickly because they have to happen transparently. And that's just the way county governance is built that way. The federal government is built that way, and our state government is built that way, and it's not by accident. But because you, the county commission, are the executive, you can enhance efficiency with the implementation of an administrator. And again, it's not that you've lost those efficiencies. You've had somebody fulfilling that role. You've had a body and a committee of folks who are making sure the budget happens. You have an extraordinary bond rating, and you know why that is. My recommendation is that you get things in place to maintain it. John, are you in a position now?
I actually am. I'm sitting in Senator Marshall's office. Just a quick few things, and I'm going to actually hop off of here. I think this is a process that we need to continue to kind of discuss and chat about and make sure that we're getting the right situation put into place and that we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's. I think you've laid out pretty well what how we need to go about it, but we also need to figure out what our expectations are of this particular position too. And I think that's something that we need to discuss in a little bit more depth internally. I think we'll get there. I don't think it's a problem. I just think, as I think Commissioner McKinley said, it's going to take a little bit of time, and it needs to be a process. It really does need to be a process because this is going to be a very, very important position for the future of the county and the citizens that we represent. And we need to make sure that we get it right. And that's my 2 cents for the morning.
Okay. We have 30 minutes, so I've got 2 left according to my clock. No, I'm happy to answer questions as long as you wish, but in terms of that process, and Commissioner Ford, I think that's a good point. I'm here making a recommendation, and I'm willing to assist the county in whatever way you want. I can step aside and say, hey, it's my idea, go do good things. Or I can be involved in the process and help you develop the resolution as we go along. But as Commissioner Ford says, there needs to be discussions, and whatever that resolution is going to look like is going to be decision points with you at various times along the way. That can happen with your internal resources. That can happen with me being part of it, or I can head it up. I don't care how you do it, but as Commissioner Ford says, there's going to be a lot of discussions. And I've told you 45 days is not even the beginning of the time that I think it should take to actually make all of these decisions. So I'm going to recommend not necessarily a task force, but that you develop kind of a timeline over which you want to make this happen, and have both public decisions and then just conversations among the county commissioners, and then work sessions and those sorts of things. So where you have the discussions and reach a consensus as to what looks best for Riley County. You know, I've presented Finney County, Sedgwick County, Harvey County, Douglas County. That is not to suggest that any one of those is the template for Riley County. I've thrown a handful of ingredients at you. Go make a good stew.
And well, you had a recommendation to go ahead and transfer the HR department and the budget, the finance person under the county council position of county administrative services now, and then work with getting a resolution.
As an interim step, again, my experience is those positions do answer to the county commission and not the county clerk. And so to align the county with, you know, what I view as the traditional organization structure, that's an interim step that you can take to work towards the transition to ultimately the administrator position.
And in fact, about 20 years ago, so they were in that department, and then they were moved to the clerk's department for various reasons. And like I said, our intent is just to move them back, but also just, as you just said, clarify, because some people had some questions obviously about it. This isn't, we don't know exactly, well, we know exactly where we're headed, but there's a path, and we want everyone's input on making sure. We've talked about it, things that we've thought about, but I'm sure we've missed things that might happen too. And we're trying to smooth it as much as possible, but I'm sure there'll be bumps in the road. You know, making a change like this is not easy.
You will find there are a number of things that when you make a decision, a whole lot of dominoes fall as a result of that decision, and you're not aware of the majority of what those dominoes are. And it's, again, if you're making decision without understanding what those dominoes are and how any decision impacts what line those dominoes are in to get knocked over, you're probably getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
John, do you have anything else?
Well, I stand ready for you to tell me what the next deliverable is from me, and I don't expect that to be an answer that you can give me right now. Unless your answer is, Mr. Cooper, step aside. Thank you very much.
You've done a lot of work. Like I said earlier, I've read your reports about 3-4 times and marked them all up, and I do like your recommendation, the interim recommendation that you have made.
Okay. Well, I will wait for your next direction and look forward to working with you as you carry this into the future.
Sure, we'll need some.
Sure. Thank you, folks.
Here's time, Mr. Elliman.
We want to go into executive section for personnel stuff.
I don't think so. I mean, that John here, you could get anything out.
Well, I think there's.
Ready?
Okay, yeah.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Ellerman again, Public Works. This morning I'm asking to refill a traffic control technician position. Traffic control technician is responsible for installing and maintaining all traffic control devices and to direct and protect the motoring public traveling through the county. Oh, that's a person in this position also responds to emergencies for sign repairs and fabricates and assembles signs. This position is open because we stole the person in that department and put her in to our customer services, position. So that's why we have it open. It's a full-time budgeted position, and it is a crew of 2. So the signs in the county, we definitely need at least the 2 people to fill that position.
Questions?
No. I'd move to approve the Public Works Department to advertise and fill the traffic control technician position.
I would second that, and I would move, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's strange that. It's moved and seconded to approve the Public Works Department to advertise and fill the traffic control technician position. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Gilby, 10-10, Julie's 10-10.
Ready? Good morning, Commissioners. Jacob Hansen, Riley County Councilor. Just wanted to touch base on a couple items. Mainly, I'll be working, of course, with John Ellerman to address the bathroom bill, as it's so aptly called. I believe it's Senate Bill 244. make sure we get some protections in place because we anticipate that'll be live in about 2 weeks, give or take. So gonna work with John in order to get that addressed and make sure we're covered. There's also another bill that is going to be heard tomorrow by the Senate Committee on Taxation and Assessment. And that's regarding single property appraisers or appraisals. And I've spoken with Anna a little bit on this earlier today, and my suggestion is that I'd work with her in developing some written testimony to submit to oppose particularly this bill. When talking with Anna, she just mentioned that we're moving from, or we're being required to use a single fee appraisal system rather than the mass appraisal system, which will cause a lot of cost and burden to the county. And of course, I'll use a little bit more persuasive language within the letter itself, but I just ask that the board give the okay for me to go ahead and pin that together and get that submitted for hearing tomorrow. Pretty quick turnaround. So I'll be working on that probably as soon as I'm done here. So I'd ask for that consensus from the board to move forward with that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. And I also had an opportunity to speak with our lobbyists. I'll be planning on getting a Zoom call for them within maybe the next week or so, just to give a mid-session update. Now that turnover has passed, we should have a little bit more of a concrete idea of really what's going to be going on. And so I wanted to get them here, of course, for you guys. Is there a set amount of time you'd like? I'm thinking just 30 minutes. I could do longer or shorter. Obviously, it's going to depend on their availability as well. But I've already reached out to them, and they said that they would be willing to do so. So 30 minutes sound appropriate? All right. Well, outside of those couple legislative topics coming up, that is all I have, unless either of you have questions, or John, of course, as well.
One of them that came out on that, what we got from the county, it says HB 2377 about sales tax distribution, changing the way it's distributed between the cities and counties.
Huh.
And by his write-up, I don't understand.
Well, I will take some time, take a look at that one, because I don't think I've looked at that one yet. So let me get back to you, and I'll take a good look.
Okay, well, did John say he was gonna be back Thursday?
Yeah, he's supposed to be back Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah. So,
Well, then, when he gets back, maybe we should schedule an executive session, discuss personnel.
okay, I can do that. Thursday. All right. And I'll get to you on the details. Anything else?
Okay, then, guess John's not on there. Are you still on there or not, John? Well, let's see, I guess, that's fine.
Thank you.
You have the intergovernmental, I go to the luncheon.
Good.
Probably need to.
Well, I move to adjourn after the intergovernmental luncheon.
I would second that. And it's been moved and seconded to adjourn after the intergovernmental luncheon. All in favor?